Hi, welcome to the Unraveling. I am Wendy M. Watson, the Love and Embodiment Architect. And in this social series, I talk about how I hit rock bottom and unraveled all the conditions and habits and all the things that I taught myself to be in order to be this beautiful, successful woman in front of you. And in episode 7, we're talking about the conversations that just had to happen. A lot of times in life and in business, there are difficult conversations that we try to avoid, that we try and, go around the corner or navigate. And sometimes we just have to have them head on and face them and just have the conversation. So that is what we are going to unravel today. All right, so in episode 6 last week, I talked about how he had brought the bar home and he was staying up all night, partying till 6, 7, 8, sometimes noon the next day. And, that was a personality change and wasn't really excited about it, especially when one of my girlfriends, or so I thought, was involved in staying up all night with him. And I was just not okay with that. So I had to love myself enough to have those conversations and to address the issue. And so I went to him first and I explained to him why I wasn't on board with it, why it made me uncomfortable, especially when he knew that I dealt with infidelity issues from my first husband. And he told me that they weren't doing anything wrong. And so he wasn't going to change his behavior. And I was completely dismissed. So I went and pulled the girl card with her. She's supposed to be my friend. This is not okay. That's my man. This behavior needs to stop. And I flipped the coin on her and I said, how would you feel if it was the other way around? And she said that she wouldn't like it either. So she said she would stop. Well, actions speak louder than words. And I will tell you the actions didn't stop. The important part was what I realize now was that my leadership skills were being tested. From the traditional feminine of just dropping the seeds and let him process and see what decisions that he makes, to strategic and planning out the conversations and knowing when and how to have them, the situational stuff, asking myself if I was bringing in, my stuff from my first marriage into this situation, making sure I was being collaborative and asking her how she would feel if she was the other way around and seeing if we can't, come to a compromise, from conscious leadership, looking at myself and how I was showing up in the mix. And then, the transformational leadership, sitting and watching how things transformed. You know, what I realized was that these conversations weren't just about boundaries in a relationship. They were more about how I loved myself. They were about listening for the love between them two, listening to their love between me and him and between me and her. And how is that showing up? Because the truth is that love doesn't mean avoiding the hard conversations. Sometimes love means walking straight into them. And what I learned, as I reflect now on that, is what I didn't know was that I was going to need all of these different leadership skills when the rug got pulled out for me again, and I had to start all over again when I lost my corporate job that just bought the house a year ago. So check in next week to hear about my corporate transition.